Welcome to the Executive Coaching Podcast, where Executive Coach Alicia Cowan will discuss leadership topics and coaching solutions to tackle the most difficult problems that keep you from leading your team to success.
Hi there, leaders, and welcome to episode number 35. It is mid-March as I am recording this, and we are just flying through the year. I can't believe how fast this year has been going. I recently celebrated my 46th birthday last weekend, and so I really just wanted to be on the beach. Growing up here in Florida, that is what I equated my birthday to, was spring break time in Florida. And it's just the time of the year where the weather is like perfect. It's starting to warm up and really be nice and beautiful. And I just wanted to be outside at the beach with my family. And that's what we did. And it was a lovely time. And we went over to Sarasota, and I had a client actually that has a house down there give me some great recommendations about where to go. And so as a result, we had just a great, fun, celebratory weekend. It's a really good time. And now we're back at it. And this week we are getting ready to head to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for a cheer competition. So when this goes live, we will just be coming back from that. And so hopefully that all goes well there. And last big exciting update around the Cowan House is that this week we are getting started on the pool. We are building a pool, and I could not be more thrilled. This is like a lifelong dream, a house with a pool in it. And so I cannot wait until this gets started. We're starting the dig on Tuesday. So much going on, as always, around here. So I'd like to keep you updated on that. But what I really want to dive into is this topic of confidence and the feeling of confidence in the workplace as a senior leader. Why it came up is because this week it was seemingly a centralized topic that came out of coaching sessions. And so, as I always like to do, I like to share with you themes and what's happening, because I think if it's happening for certain leaders, absolutely, hopefully you can relate. And that's where this came from, was leaders thinking that they needed to do something different or be something different than they already were in order to somehow garner confidence from this. So that is the topic and what we're going to dive into. So I've been thinking a lot about it. As senior leaders, in thinking about like what feelings we need to have in order to be a strong senior leader. And I think at times we go into being a leader and we think that feelings that come up, feelings of discomfort, or things that are unfamiliar and things that are challenging, we sometimes forget that those things are supposed to happen. Senior leader, we think that something's gone wrong. We think when we're in unfamiliar territory and we're unsure of what to do and we're not quite feeling super comfortable, that something has gone just terribly wrong. So I like to remind leaders that, like, when you are a leader and you're stepping out and doing something different than what is the norm, and being a leader is just that, where you are stepping out from the crowd and leading from the front, it is going to feel uncomfortable. And so I want to talk about confidence as a feeling you can choose ahead of time. And you can have confidence no matter what your results. Okay. And that's kind of hard, I think, for people to wrap their brains around, because they think that at times confidence comes from knowing how to do everything. It comes from having achieved everything. It comes from your past, that you have had to have done something before and been good at it. And that is what you have to have before you can have confidence. But I want to offer this. Confidence is it's a feeling. It's a feeling, and you can actually choose to feel it ahead of time. You can actually choose it no matter what you've accomplished or not accomplished in your life. And so the true definition of confidence, if you go to the web, it's the feeling or belief that one can rely on something or someone. It's a firm trust. It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Okay, so we're going to dive into this and like what this actually means. So when you go into a situation and you start to look for evidence that you have either done this thing before or not, and then letting that dictate whether or not you be confident, it's backwards. Okay. Confidence is when you can choose to know that you have the confidence to overcome the challenge that will lead to the accomplishment. Right. So it's believing in yourself and the ability that you can overcome whatever you put your mind to. That's self-confidence, right? And I think what we also believe at times, and what confidence is not, it's not what we create in someone else's mind. It is not the opinion that we create in someone else. So when we do something or achieve something, at times we think that that will make others confident in us, and that's going to create confidence. But it does not work that way, unfortunately. I wish it did, my friends. I wish we could control someone else's thinking about us through our actions, but that's not possible, right? There's no way to do something in the world that will make another person think a certain thing about us or not. Okay. That is then their own thought process and their own decisions that they get to make about how they think about us. Okay. But what confidence can do, it can help you create very predictable actions and results in your own life. So that feeling of confidence within you can help you by creating momentum and help you start to create positive actions, and then help drive to a result that can also lead to and trigger confidence within you. Okay. So here's what I hear sometimes. Again, a lot of times, and when I'm talking to confident or clients, they think about confidence and say things like, I'm just not confident, as if it's just a fact and it's binary. And I want to offer this. Confidence is not a gene that we are born with. It is not something that someone either has or they don't. It's something absolutely that we can create, and it comes from our thinking and our thoughts. It also does not come from our actions and our results. Okay. It comes in how we think about them. So let me give an example to help better illustrate this. I had two different leaders, both very similar in the sense of have achieved a certain level and title within an organization, have had massive professional accomplishments, have driven results that are immeasurable, right? So amazing for teams, led large teams of people, have great educational background, have great success. And while some of the results are very similar in the sense of just anybody could look from the outside and say factually that these two leaders have achieved a great amount of achievements and professional success in these roles, right? How they were thinking about them in terms of their confidence was very different. One leader thought that the confidence that she had was coming from these results that she had produced, right? She's like, okay, I've proven it. I've gotten to this certain level of confidence, and it's because of these things that I've accomplished, right? Another leader had a very different thought process about it and thought, it took me a lot longer than I've expected. I'm not necessarily as articulate about my success, and I don't present my results in a way that I feel is as articulate as perhaps my coworkers. Some people, say things like, I need more experience in this arena, and I need to do it for a few more years before I can feel confident about it. Okay. And so it's interesting because I think that while we think, well, it just should be like you get to the certain level and you've had so much achievement, of course you should feel confident, right? But I think a lot of people, again, they how they think about it is very different. And so that's why I think it's really important distinction to make, because even though you may have achieved so much professional success and so many things, unless you think that it's a success, unless you think that you did it and you can do it again, and you have the confidence, not only because you've created it again, I want to make that distinction, not just because you've proven that you can do it, but because you've proven that your brain has the capability to overcome challenges. Your brain has the ability to overcome and problem solve and move through challenges. And you have full faith and confidence in yourself and your ability. Okay. So I think I want to talk about this because I think it's really important. And a lot of people think that once you've achieved a certain level of success, you should just always be confident. And it doesn't work that way. You can achieve so many different things. And unless you think, and like how you think you can, unless you think that, okay, I want to have confidence in myself and I'm going to choose ahead of time, you can always look for evidence out there that maybe somebody's doing it better, because that comes up a lot too. Okay. So sometimes people will go out and start to compare themselves with others and use that almost against themselves. Things like, I'm not doing what they're doing, so I don't have enough reason to be confident. I must not be good enough because they're doing more or doing it better. And we start to change the depiction on the outside in order to feel good. And we look to someone, or we looked at someone similar to see what else someone else is doing to either feel good or feel bad about ourselves. And that can be really, really dangerous. So I want to just give this example and make sure that you understand that, like, just because we've accomplished something in our past, yes, it can help trigger confidence, and we can think different things about it to trigger thoughts of confidence, but it doesn't always guarantee that we will have that. We have to choose it and be conscious about it, because at times we can start to use some of the actions and results that we've created against ourselves and say, well, it's not enough. Okay. And I say that's why I wanted to illustrate two examples, is because I have two very specific examples of people thinking very differently about very similar, amazing accomplishments. Right. So that's why I want to prove to you that, like, confidence does not come from what we've done. Okay. Again, confidence can be triggered from the thoughts about what we've done, but confidence is coming from how we're thinking about it. It's really interesting because at times, I work with senior leaders. And so at times what I see is the more success that leaders get, the more accomplishments that they get, sometimes the more doubt can creep in, because you continue to rise and go for that next goal. You go for whatever that next level is. And that's when doubt starts to creep in at times, unless we're really grabbing hold of this mental skill and really grabbing hold of, how do I create the confidence within myself without looking to achieve something else and not looking for the answer on the outside of me, right? So let's talk about what we can do in order to do this. So one way you can practice this is ask yourself the question, if I had all the requirements that I believe that I would need to feel confident, what would I be thinking? And what you can do is write that all out. So I know, again, some leaders are like, oh, I need to have this many more years of experience. I have to have this degree. I have to have great public speaking skills, whatever that is, whatever skill it is, whatever requirement it is. How would I think about it once I had it? And then you can write all those thoughts out. And what you can do is start practicing those thoughts now and having that confidence now about what you would be thinking. Again, self-confidence is a skill that we have to build. And you may think about something super simple if you get stuck on some of those requirements. Another option would be to pick something that you do that could be really easy and simple, that you have full confidence that you have the ability to do. Something that you're super good at, something that, again, could be super easy. It could be as simple as, I'm sitting in a room and in a chair, and I could think about the ability that I have to get up out of this chair and walk across the room, right? I am very confident that I have that ability. And how I think about it is like, okay, I'm going to get up, I can walk across this room, and I know I'm going to get to the other side of this room with ease. Even if I trip and fall or I stumble, I'm not going to make that mean something about myself, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not good enough, that I can't do it again, that I would fail, that I'm a complete failure, and that I should stop trying, right? I would be like, oh, it's a fluke. I just tripped once. It was an accident. I'm whatever, having an off day. right? I would never make it mean that I don't have the ability to do it again, right? So it's that kind of thinking that you can borrow from, that you feel so confident and so good, and then you can transfer it, right? And use some of those thoughts, like that confidence and that level of ability that you have and belief in that you have in yourself, you can transfer it over to something that you're not quite believing yet, and use these to ladder into ladder thoughts, meaning that, well, like, stepping stones or like little lily pads that we will hop into thoughts that we fully believe in ourselves and believe in our confidence. So some thoughts that might be able to help create confidence is something as simple as, what I say matters. Again, I was working with a client, and I think some of the thoughts that they were doing a lot of comparison about what other people say in meetings and how they present in meetings, and using that against themselves to diminish what they have to say in meetings. And so something as simple as that, as what I say matters. And again, this doesn't take away from the other person. We're not diminishing what they're saying. We're not diminishing their ability. We're just saying we're confident in ourselves, like what I say also matters, right? Something simple as, I know this will help people. What's great about thinking about a giving perspective or helping others is it takes the focus off yourself. And if you focus on helping other people, can be really, really powerful. So if you think about how something that you're doing in action can help other people, can give you the confidence to move forward through something that you may be a little bit nervous about, like public speaking. Also, something simple as like, what I think of me matters, or who I am matters. And if you think about it, you actually did not make yourself. Whatever you believe in, whatever higher power that you believe in, someone else made you, not you. And so if you know that, you can be confident in the ability of like, who I am absolutely matters. Okay. And these are thoughts that, again, can help you hopefully bridge into confidence. Okay. So that's a couple of ways you can use to practice this skill. Okay. And why does this even matter? Well, let me tell you this. I think what we don't learn often enough in school or growing as we grow in self-development, we do not focus a lot on confidence. And what's fascinating is, as we have these goals as senior leaders, and we have these big things that we're going after in terms of business and results and driving to a great outcome and a massive outcome, what we don't realize is the goal plus the confidence that we have in our own abilities create the results in our life that we want to create, right? That's that combination of the goal plus the confidence. That's what creates the life that we want to lead, right? If we have self-doubt, I don't think we think enough about the fact that we practice self-doubt and we practice lack of confidence so repeatedly on default mode without even thinking about it. And we don't realize what the self-doubt creates in our lives, right? And it prohibits us reaching our goals and prohibits us reaching our dreams that we want to achieve. And so that's why it matters so much, is that's why practicing confidence and practicing the skill is so important. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Number one, I think just an awareness. That's what I like to do, I think, with these podcasts, is just bringing things into your awareness so that you can be conscious and just notice where self-doubt is showing up in your life. And again, like I said, this week it came up a lot with leaders as they're leading big teams, big initiatives, having lots of big goals. So just notice where self-doubt pops up in your life. Okay, that's number one. So just being aware helps immensely. Okay. Two, just notice when those triggers, like pay attention to those thought triggers that pop up. Okay. So again, example of this was a thought trigger was a comparison trigger, like somebody in a meeting saying something, just saying words, and then that triggering a lack of confidence because of the comparison that you may be making to others and their accomplishments. So number three is got to get this mind hygiene right. What I mean by mind hygiene is cleaning up the mind and noticing the self-doubt, and then starting to practice the thoughts of confidence that we discussed that could be options for you. There's so many more out there that you can practice and grab from that might feel more true to you, but mentally rehearsing and practicing these thoughts that feel true to you. Okay. So just like we brush our teeth every day, hopefully, we also have to manage our mind hygiene and clean out and notice, again, the self-doubt thoughts and work on practicing thoughts that give us confidence. Okay. Number 4, you can also work on, if you are someone that is of service and you like to think about giving to others, you can practice that as a momentum and something that may help you when getting stuck and thinking about, okay, if I can be confident in this fact that this will help someone else, will this help me move through it? Okay. So great example would be public speaking. If you're someone that is afraid of public speaking or speaking up in meetings, you can think about how might my words help somebody else and see if that helps you move through it. And then the last thing, another thing I was practicing with a client is going through all of the achievements that you've achieved. Just set a timer, grab a piece of paper, and start a list. It can be back as far as you want, but start with a list, big to little accomplishments, whatever it may be, and think about the things that you have accomplished in your life. And this can help, again, start to trigger some ideas and start giving you confidence because you were thinking about them and how you overcame obstacles, how you overcame, you were resilient and you overcame anything that came up in your way. And that perhaps can help give you some confidence that you have the ability and the skill set to move forward. Okay. Hope this helps. Again, I firmly believe that times there are feelings that we have to choose ahead of time. And a lot of times we think in default mode. We just think of whatever comes up for us is what we have to experience. But you have the power. You have the power and the capability. However, it does take work and it takes practice. It's not easy by any means, but it can be quick. It can be a quick fix to start practicing this. Start practicing it. So if you want help with any of this, again, I coach on all these topics and more and help move through when you're having a difficult time and something feels really sticky, help move through it so that you can get to feel more confident and feel more powerful in your leadership role right away. So you know how to reach out to me. You can reach out to me directly through my website. It's ElishaKowen.com. It's ELISIAKEOWN coaching.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and all the places and YouTube. This podcast actually is also on YouTube and you can watch it if you want to see me live. Okay. Well, thank you so much as always for listening. I really, really appreciate your time and attention. Have a great couple of weeks. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Executive Coaching Podcast with Elisha Cowen. If you're ready to have an executive coach who's ready to help you lead your team to success, then book an introductory call at ElishaKowenCoaching.com/call.